So we're group 19 on one of the signals.
Alexander Meyer.
What basically presented is brand new idea for as a more make education or something a little bit more of it, a little bit more quote unquote easy to learn. And that's how CSI virtual reality kind of came to be.
Okay, so our introduction. Basically, our project itself is to take CSI and apply biology and CSI together in a virtual reality environment. So if you go into, you get a live on with a headset on, you are completely immersed, because when you're in virtual reality, all of your senses are focused on that. It's as if it's real. And that learning environment is really easy to pick stuff up. Your whole body memorizes what it's like. And there's no distractions when you're in virtual reality. We do have citations in this that are at the end of the slide for reading up on these different points that we make. So basically what we're going to talk about is the advanced simulation systems that we're using, how we're applying biology and CSI together into virtual reality, and what we have accomplished so far.
Well, basically one of the biggest objectives and applications of this thing is to give students and even the public access to a system where they can see and learn about how CSI work is done. As you can see in the picture, in the CSI universities, and even in the FBI police department, FBI in Academy in Quantico, and also in the one in many other police department institutions, they use models that they use in their school. They're not the real thing, and that's how the virtual reality comes in. Right now, we can take a scan of this whole room, and we can make it exactly in the computer, exactly how it is in the real world. That, with the implementation of virtual reality, the students can go into a real crime scene and actually investigate like they're learning in a real set environment. Because as for a lot of regulations in the police department, a student cannot go inside a crime scene without the proper background, paperwork, and a million other stuff. So this will give access to students to give some idea of how the real field work and lab work is about. Also, this also because a video game also can be used as an entertainment. The public can learn about how the police department do their work, and that way they can be more informed on this type of things that most people really don't know. Because as you can see, all these shows, CSI, Criminal Minds, and many others, they make it look so easy and step by step, but it's a really complex biological and lab work, and a lot of guessing and a lot of making sure that everything goes with the information. One of the biggest things is how we could relate this to biology. Our main topic for the game was our end goal. It's a game that will immerse you into the life of a detective. With this detective, you're going to be able to do field work, go into the real crime scene, investigate each of the points, collect your data, and then move to the lab. Of course, in schools, they have their own criminal forensic labs, but this will also give a way that a forensics student can practice his own work at home with this type of technology. And basically also they could learn how to do the biological processes of the human body, how to find out when the body was killed by looking at the blood, looking at the fingerprints, how to scan it, how to get all the information from it, fiber, and many other stuff.
All right, so now we're going to talk about what we have so far. So right now, we've actually started working on the project. You can see here that we have written a lot of code. The code itself goes in and it connects with Steam VR, which, if you don't know about HTC Vive, it uses a system called Steam VR to link the headset and your computer together. adds chaperone bounds, which basically tell you where the edges of your room are so you don't walk into things in real space, because it is a one-to-one room scale. So if I walk over here, then I'm actually walking in the virtual environment. So we've written code that integrates into that. It pulls up controllers. It lets you take the input from the user in 3D space, draw arrays out, detect if you're interacting with objects, open cabinets, all of that. It also lets you move around the world and explore rooms that you normally wouldn't be able to walk over to. We've also designed this virtual environment. That is a lot of assets that I've had in the past, because I have a company that does VR work for Steam. And so I have access to thousands of dollars worth of 3D assets, props, stuff like that. So the scene itself is AAA quality, full HD house. The crime scene we're doing completely custom, so we have little markers that tell you what you should look at and let you analyze them. It brings up lab notes. We have lab notes written out, and that basically the system is that if you walk up to an object and has a little marker there, let's say it's a knife, you can analyze it by looking at it with your controller and pulling the trigger, and it will pull up lab notes as if you went to the lab and tell you everything that came back from the lab about the object and why it might be of interest in the investigation. It won't link the objects for you. You have to mentally use your applications of biology, your knowledge of it, to link everything together. And then when the game's over, you can say who you think killed who and all that.
You can Wikipedia it.
You basically, it has...
Because the thing is, this is more about educational, for educational purposes. So we could create our own entire story of something that happened,
Right.
and the teacher, it will be the only one who knows the answer. And by using this type of scenery, they will let them, okay, you have a week, analyze this crime scene, analyze it. At the end of the week, I wanna like a field document about what do you think, who did it, who died first, suspects, and whatever. And that's how it will be graded, because the teacher will have the real, what we actually did with all the information and why not, and then they can relate to it, making it more educational and making it more prone to students to learn this.
And as well as that, because we want it to be something that's available to everyone, you can go home, you can download it if you have a Vive yourself, and get on and explore these applications yourself anywhere in the world. The game is going to come with a few crime scenes already in the system that are part of the game package, and the answers to them of what actually happened. So you can go in, you can explore when you think you've figured out what the crime was, what happened, who did what, then you can go and you can look at the actual write-up of what happened and see if you were correct. It's a lot of fun to see if your friends can solve the same stuff that you can solve, and who can do it faster. We do have a demo. It is a little laggy on here because we recorded it in the editor, but running as an executable file, it runs at 90 frames per second, looking smooth, with a GTX 1080. It also has ran on a 980 Ti OC and a 760 graphics card with Intel i7s.
So it's available now? You can actually play on it?
We're the only ones who have
You're the only ones who have the
Right,
files.
but yeah,
we
that's
can-
what's
we can play.
made on it?
Yeah, a little bit that we have done. One thing, it's also that this is.
I would try.
Yeah, we're
We're planning to put it on the we're planning to put it upstairs when we do the final presentation, so everyone can try this out.
Yeah. How many can play at a time? Only one?
Only one person.
Dang it.
But one of the big companies that we could service, it's mostly universities. This type of technology is like fractions cheaper of what an actual one equipment of lab work will like actually do. And also, that's only for the university standards. They save money, they save time, and they can teach their students better. Now, police level. In FBI academies, they have warehouses where they build old crime scenes that they have done before, where they had every single thing as it was, because they took pictures and analyzed it and all. But that takes a lot of time and that takes money because you're doing a different crime scene every time, and when the students are gonna go in, they have to destroy it to analyze it and do more stuff, so that includes more money. With this, you can use those warehouses to put this equipment way cheaper, more advanced, and the students can just go inside the actual house and work this.
So it's $3,000 though, right?
Yes, to
That's not
No, but that's the assets. That's
Oh,
the assets.
that's the assets. To
But
summarize,
there's something like artists do this for living.
For
So
okay.
and a lot of police department
Right, for
officers are
applications.
really good art. So this also minimizes the cost.
Mm.
The whole entire Vive and all the system is like 300.
no. I'll summarize that. It's actually kind of expensive, but the marketplace is growing really quickly. There's a lot of Vives around. Actually on campus, I believe there's probably around 12 students who have Vives. The Vives are $900. It takes a computer estimated around $1,500 minimum price for your desktop or laptop that can run it. And once you have it, you have it. The assets that we're using, because I have a company, Alzheimer's Studios, we did HoloPoint, if you guys who have Vives have seen it. Because I already have assets from that, we didn't have to spend any extra money to get these assets into the game. They're from like props of chairs, 3D models, stuff like that, are from past projects
Okay.
that I haven't published.
Question.
To make it be available for not just Vive, but like Oculus Rift and other VR equipment.
Yes,
That is the goal.
Alzheimer's Studios has connections with Valve, with Oculus, and with PlayStation VR. This one right now runs completely room scale, so it's only supported for the Vive. But once we have it completely, ironed out, everything looks good, we can port it over to the Oculus and the PlayStation VR as well. Yes.
I have one question divided into 14 subparts. So with virtual reality, you can make this a game, and would you actually be interested? Would your intention be to tie it to the CSI television series, maybe get licensing with them, and then also you want to create it for schools to be able to teach forensic science?
This is more for students to learn about. If we're gonna make it more like the series, let's say, put it that way, for the public,
Yeah.
because being honest, CSI work, it's kind of morbid, and so it's with CSI in the movies or in the series, it's less of a morbid thing, so it's more educational in that sense. So by combining this and with the files that are available for the public in the police department, when the cases are all completely closed and they have some time off, the cases are released to the public, so the public can access them, because that's what it is. So we can collide those two to make it more educational, to see people real life
Last
cases.
question, because we need to go to the next group.
All right, the question I had is that you said in the normal process that after the to purchase a warehouse, you set it up with, evidence, equipment, et cetera, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You said Vive is $900, computer is $1,500. I'm assuming that no one at the police station is techno now that the either buy or have someone build a new computer for them. That's not really $100. At the end of the day, that's only one person can use the Vive at a time, one computer per time. If there's a group of 6, you're going to need 6 computers. So it's going to be $10,000. That's really cheaper.
Well, if you think about it in terms of this supplies an infinite amount of crime scenes, technically, you can make more and more crime scenes, and you never have to reinvest in that software, because once you have a Vive that's working, you have a Vive that's working. You're not going to spend the money to, build an actual environment, build walls, get chairs and all that. You're just going to put more people in and digitally make more environments. And for getting the hardware itself, there are companies that are actually building complete VR rigs now. So you can just go online, say I want to buy this VR setup, they'll ship you the desktop, VR gear, everything.
And also, it's not that it's gonna be a one-hit thing that they're just gonna buy 1,000 VR things to put in a single warehouse. It's gonna be little by little, because of what Alex said. It's just the broad of maximum of crime scenes that you can have. It will just be crazy.
So to wrap up real quick, because I believe we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Up here on the screen, we have some resources for learning. The first one up there is our own technical document. This is basically a write-up of the the project itself, what systems we have in place, why we're using the systems, what our level design is doing, kind of a thought process of how we're designing it and why we're doing what we're doing. So if you want to learn more about the project and the technical side of it, that will basically, as we go, we're going to be adding to that, and it will have a whole write-up of the entire project. The second one is virtual reality in education, which is the applications of virtual reality in education, and the third one is the applications of virtual reality across the board, if you want to learn more about that. We talked about them in our slide.
So you've got resources that's actually embedded in
Yeah.
there. All right,
Could you post that first link on campus somehow? Or something like that?
We could talk to
I can
Dr.
email
Horton and get
yeah.
it to her.
And
Okay.
they will give it to me and then,
Yeah, maybe
The what?
it's been published.
Whatever
Make
he
sure we
has?
don't know, 'cause
yeah, we'll see, cause, we need some patent here.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it costs $20,000 now, okay?
This
Here's
project is,
Mr. Mrs. Wonderful over here.
the project
Okay,
currently is
so,
copyright.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get that, later. Now, guys, next, very good.